Hundreds of National Guard troops are expected to begin deployments on the streets of Washington, D.C. this morning on orders from President Trump, a White House official tells NBC News. The rollout part of the president's unprecedented push to combat crime in the nation's capital.
This is Liberation Day in D.C.
The president signing an executive order declaring a crime emergency in Washington, tapping a never-before-used provision of Washington, D.C.'s Home Rule Act to federalize the police department, taking direct control of it for 30 days. And last night, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth asked how long National Guard troops could be there.
I don't know, weeks, months, what will it take? That's the president's call.
The district's Democratic mayor blasting the move, but saying she sees no legal route to prevent it.
I'm going to work every day to make sure it's not a complete disaster.
Other Democrats calling it a distraction.
This looks to me like an emergency which is manufactured because of a public relations crisis relating to the Epstein file.
President Trump taking the dramatic step after a former member of DOJ was violently assaulted on Washington's streets last week, painting a dire picture of crime and homelessness in the Capitol.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged-out maniacs and homeless people.
But D.C. police statistics show violent crime has fallen the last 2 years, including by 26% so far in 2025. And the U.S. Attorney's Office said in January overall crime in D.C. was at a 30-year low. The head of D.C.'s police union says those statistics fail to capture the reality on the ground.
That's not the reality that we feel on the streets.
He says D.C.'s officers welcome short-term federal help, but need more officers and changes in local laws to make a difference.
Can you fundamentally fix the crime problem in D.C. in a month?
No, I don't think so. I think you certainly can make an impact on the crime that would normally occur.
Now, President Trump also said yesterday he may deploy the National Guard in other cities, too. But D.C.'s unique status as not part of any state gives him authorities here he wouldn't necessarily have elsewhere, at least not without a robust legal challenge if a governor opposed that action. Craig?
All right, Garrett, let's pivot for a moment here because all of this coming as the president made some news overnight on the tariff front, specifically with China. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, just hours before the current tariff truce with China was set to expire, the president signed an order extending it by 90 days. That leaves the current 30% import tax in place on most Chinese goods while negotiations between the countries continue. President Trump has said he expects those negotiations will ultimately involve a meeting between he and the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. China is one of the U.S.'s biggest trading partners, especially for consumer goods, the stuff we buy and use every day, which means where this particular tariff rate ultimately lands could have a major impact on the prices we all pay. Craig?
Our senior White House correspondent, Garrett Haake, for us. Garrett, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.